Yeah. After this, the price definitely got to go up.
What's going on, guys? It's Brandan Ratio'd back again with Peeps with Tweets. This is episode 4. Thank you guys for listening, subscribing, and everything that you guys are doing. I got a very special guest with us today. If you don't know him on Twitter, then you probably don't have a Twitter. If you don't have music Twitter or sports Twitter, you definitely have this guy on. You're definitely following him. You're definitely arguing in his mentions at all times. He works for Fox Sports as a sports topic editor, and he is, I'm going to assume, a co-creator in the elite media Twitter group.
Whatever Twitter group, we've been called a bunch of stuff. Yeah, one of the members of the elite for sure.
Yeah, but this is Kameron. Hey, my guy, how are we doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing? It's been a while since we popped on one of these Zooms or anything, so I'm glad to be back on here with you for sure.
Yeah. It's been a couple months, definitely for sure. I think we need to let the people know how we ended up following each other, because we definitely got the first time I knew about Kam. I don't remember exactly what I said because I definitely deleted the tweets and all that shit. But we had an argument about Giannis, and we went back and forth at each other. And I don't know how that ended up being reconciled and how we ended up following each other. But as soon as you followed me, I was like, I hit you up and I'm like, yo, my bad. Like sometimes when it comes to sports stuff, it gets personal and it gets gross. And so it's just one of those things where I'm like, nah, bro, I'm tripping. I gotta relax.
No, the funny thing is though, like usually that's how it goes. Like I follow. Funny enough, I follow the people back who like come at me the hardest. Like I gain like a sense of respect for you. Like, all right, he's not backing down. All right, cool. Like I can rock with him. So it is what it is. Like I don't take too much on Twitter personally. Like it's all like, I don't want to say a joke, but it's like where you could get on there, you could be a little loose, be a little fun. I didn't take it personally. Like when you DM me, I think I told you like it's no big deal, bro. Like trust me, it's all good. And yeah, we've been rocking out since then for sure. So
absolutely, yeah. I felt bad because I was definitely like a dickhead. Like I'm not even like a Bucks fan. I'm not a Giannis fan. So I'm like, why the fuck am I going so hard?
Bro, like as the season went on, I was like, "Yo, you're a Celtics fan." Like, I'm like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like, we need to come together here. Like,
yeah. But also, you're like, I don't know if you're a Lakers fan, but you're a LeBron guy, and LeBron has tortured me for the past 15 years. I'm really I had to be like, "Yo, bro, like, stop this shit," because you and Brandan are always on my case about anything LeBron, or you were at least. I don't really tweet about LeBron like that no more. I don't really care. But Brandan is definitely on my ass, and you were definitely on my ass for a little bit. So we definitely had a little enemy situation.
Yeah, we all good now though, for sure. It's water under the bridge. No big deal.
All right, so how I always start these is kind of like you reading off your bio on Twitter, kind of describing who you are as a person. I probably should have prefaced this before we started the interview, but I never do. So that's just going to be a theme now. I'm just going to surprise everybody with it.
All right, bet. No, like like you said, you covered the Fox Sports thing already. I've been working at Fox Sports for, I want to say, like a year and a few months, like a year and probably like 4 months now. I've been working at Fox Sports, so that's smooth. And then of course, Play for Keeps podcast. I host the pod with Drew, another member of Elite, one of my close friends. Went to college with me and everything. Well, went to college with me for a year before he transferred, but we stayed in touch after that. And do the Play for Keeps pod. Also a member of RNC, probably seen RNC content, all the pods they do and everything like that. So yeah, man. And then like you said, also Elite. Like Elite is like the major thing. Shout out to everybody in Elite. A lot of us. Shout out to Trevor Trout. I know you want to say somebody I've been seeing on timelines, terrorizing timelines. Like Trev at Total Trout Move is the ultimate timeline terrorist. But shout out to him. He's actually the guy who kind of put it all together. Funny enough, like he's the youngest. I think he might be the youngest member. Like one day I just woke up and he DM'd me, and because he's from St. Louis, so he's from where I'm from. He just DM'd me. He's like, I'm about to start like a Twitter group chat, like full of people that I think would be ideal. And he threw me in there, threw a few other people in there who work for like ESPN, Bleach Report, stuff like that, and it just kind of grew into a life of its own after that. Like, and to the point where now we're trying to like get more and more content generated. Like you've seen him with him, JT, and Barone. They have the Check Fade podcast, the football podcast, weekly podcast they did during the NFL season, which I thought was dope. Of course, you have Play for Keeps under the Elite umbrella, getting more and more editorial stuff. You've done stuff for us. You just wrote a story for us. Yeah. Like, so we're just expanding. Like, we're just trying to give more and more people a platform to do the stuff that they love, where they might not have access or ability to do it on a large scale platform. We figured so many people we interact with on Twitter daily, so many people that we interact with that are interested in the same things that we're interested in and want to get their voices out. So we just give you a platform for it, and hopefully we can see how far it goes. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I asked Armin, because he was writing there for a little bit. I'm like, who do I pitch to? Like, who do I go to pitch a story? He goes, Trout. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
I've never had an easier pitch in my life. I just gave it to him. He's like, yeah, I'll throw it up. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was gonna be a lot harder than it was.
No, bro. Like, it's really that simple. Like, especially if the idea is good and it makes sense. Like, we're always down to take content from people. Like if you follow the Elite account, you see it might be it could be a little jarring for people at times. Like, you can see sports tweets, you can see music tweets, you might mess around and see High School Musical tweet or something. Like, we're kind of all over the place. So we're still trying to, like, I don't want to say focus in, but we're trying a bunch of different stuff right now, reaching a bunch of different people, because when you, like I said, Twitter is a large platform, a lot of people, a lot of interest. And as many members of Elite that it is, all of us, we have similar interests, but there are going to be people who are interested in different things as well. And if people are interested in different things, there are probably going to be people outside of Elite who are interested in those things as well. And so just giving people a platform. Yeah, Trev has done a great job. I will give him that. Like, he's on top of a lot of the editorial stuff that we do, as far as just making sure that it gets up on our Medium account and everything. He basically serves as the main editor-in-chief, pretty much, of like all the editorial and everything. So, like, the kid can be a headache at times, like, for me, but I gotta give credit where credit is due, 100%. Like, he's like an evil genius. Like, he's like a little evil genius.
He really is.
But it's a method to his madness more times than not, even if it seems like he's just going off the deep end. So, for sure.
He will die with his stances, 100%.
100%.
Wait, I cannot wait to ask him about that when I get him on here, because that is going to be the best part of that, is just how him and John Rivers are the two people that I see consistently die on a hill that they will never leave, ever.
Those two guys, I truly believe they walk around with fishing poles, like, in real life. Like, they throw so much bait, like, it's like for a living. Like, I've never seen two guys just throw bait like they do. Shout out to John Rivers, another member of Elite. Very, very good guy. But yeah, man, like, when you get Trev on here, if there's one thing I've never heard Trev say in my time knowing him, is that I was wrong. Like, he will die on whatever hill he plants his flag, and he's gonna die or he's gonna live. If he dies, he dies. It is what it is. But he will never admit that he was wrong about anything. I learned to just, like, kind of respect it at this point. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you almost have to admire it, almost, because it's just like you know he's wrong if on something, and he just doesn't get. And you're like, I mean, what am I gonna do? What am I here for?
Exactly. He will not budge. So you just kind of got to respect the stubbornness and just, like, take it as that's a part of the Trevor Trout experience, for sure.
Absolutely, man. All right, so let's get into you, though. Let's get into you. So you grew up in St. Louis.
Yes, sir.
You know, I interviewed someone from St. Louis, and kind of the backstories of it is kind of wild. I kind of want to know your experience living in St. Louis and, you know, moving out since, and what it's like to be there. Because I saw a tweet, you say something like, everyone that, you know, is from St. Louis always gets asked, like, what part of St. Louis are you from?
Where high school you go to.
Yeah, what high school you go to. So I'm kind of curious about all that right now.
Yeah, man. Like, so I was born in Atlanta. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Moved to St. Louis, like, pretty much right after I was born. My mom had me when she was in college. My dad was in college as well. They moved back to St. Louis, everything. So I lived there all 18 years, pretty much. I was raised there. It's like a really, it's a small city, but we kind of treat it like it's a major city because we're so territorial. It's so like a lot of pride. But yeah, man, like I said on Twitter, like the first thing anybody's gonna ask you, like once you get to a certain age, what high school you went to, and that's gonna tell you a lot about like the person that you're talking to. I went to Cardinal Ritter College Prep, which is it's a private school. It's a real small Catholic school. Like I think it was like 350 of us total in the whole school, so it was like really really small. And so, so my graduating class had like 70 people. So yeah, so it was like everybody knew everybody. There was no, if you had beef with somebody at school, there was no escaping. Like the school was not big at all. It's not one of those schools where you'll be on the other wing of the campus and you'll never have to interact with this person. Right. Or if you time it right, you can avoid them. Like no, you're gonna see them. And so it made for some interesting days for sure. It made for some interesting days at school. But I love St. Louis, man. Like I go back. I don't get a chance to go back as often as I would like because of course now I live out in California. I went to college in New Orleans for 4 years and everything. So after college, while I was in college, I might have been lucky to go home outside of course, like the summer when I would go home, I would be lucky to go home maybe twice throughout the school year. Like it would only really be on for Christmas break. So now it's even less frequent. I went home for the holidays, of course. And if it's not the holidays, I'll be lucky to get a trip in to St. Louis throughout the calendar year. There and New Orleans are the two places I try to visit at least once a year, just because of how close I am with everybody in both of those cities. Like I'm in New Orleans right now as we record this. Like so, I'm doing you a solid. That speaks to how much I rock with you, bro. That I took this time out of this time out to get on here and do this podcast with you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Like so, after St. Louis, growing up there, we have a lot of elite members. A lot of our members of elite are from St. Louis. It actually kind of started off as like a St. Louis group chat, and it was just expanded. Yeah, man. So I ended up going to college at Loyola University, New Orleans. I'm gonna be honest with you, I had never heard of school before I went to this like journalism camp the summer going into my senior year of high school. Right. Like they have this something, it's just like this camp every summer. I don't know if they still do it or not, but it was at the time they did it it was called J Camp, and they would do it at multiple different universities every summer. And for that summer, it happened to be in New Orleans, and like my dad's side of the family is deep down here. Like they are all like from down in Louisiana. So my cousin Mark Spears is my cousin, my older cousin. He
really? Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's my older cousin. That's my cousin. So he was like, he still is, like, even though I'm a grown man now, he's like my mentor. So he like pushed for me to do the camp. He was pushing for me. I didn't want to spend my summer doing journalism shit, bro. Like I was like, bro, I was like, how long is this camp gonna be? Like, it's only a week. Like, you only gotta go down there for a week. You get to be on the campus. Like, you're gonna be in a dorm. Everything is gonna be like going to college. I was like, all right, man. Like, I'll apply for it. You have to apply. And you have to like write. You have to write like a story. Like that was your application process. Like you would apply and you had to like write like a news story or something. And if your story was like up to par, you would get accepted. If it wasn't, they would like decline you. I guess my story was like up to par. I don't even remember what I wrote. I think I sent a high school basketball recap of like St. Louis, a high school game, and sent it in. And they ended up accepting me. And so I went down there for a week, did the camp. The camp was dope. Like they had people from like NBC, MSNBC, CNN. They would come in and like speak to us, like a different speaker every day. There was a bunch of professional journalists, like multimedia journalists and producers who were like basically our professors or camp counselors or whatever throughout the week. And so while I was there, like, of course, like I've been in New Orleans plenty of times. Like I said, my family's from down here, my dad's side. So I was already like well immersed with the city, but then I went to the campus, spent time there. And it stuck with me to the point where I kept it in mind when it was time for me to start applying for colleges. And so I applied to colleges and everything. I was applying to schools. And as my senior year wound down, I'm gonna be honest with you, my first like 3 years of high school, I never even had thought far enough into like where I'm going to go to school, like where I'm going to, like what I'm going to do after high school. So senior year, that was basically my senior year. Like I was just like scrambling, applying for school. I was applying for schools like that I didn't even have interest in like really attending. I was just applying for shit just to see like who would, like where I would get in at. Yep. But Loyola, so it ended up pretty much coming down to Loyola and Mizzou. Like Mizzou is the in-state school, big school. Everybody go from, not everybody, but a lot of people from St. Louis end up going there for college. And then it was Loyola. And I had made a decision pretty much when it came down to make a decision, like, I want to kind of get away from my parents. Like, I want to get, like, because I know if I go to school up the freeway, Mizzou is only like an hour and 30 away from St. Louis. I was like, I'm going to be home every weekend. Yeah. I'm not going to really, like, grow on my own. So I went down to Loyola, and I was homesick for the first semester. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I thought it was going to be easy. And it wasn't easy at all. Like, yo, like, I'm really, like, down here, like, by myself. Like, you know, like I said, my dad's side of the family down here, and they actually did a good job looking after me during that first semester. But I was ready to come home. Like, I was, like, on the phone with my mom, like, yo, I'm transferring at the end of this first semester. Like, I'm going to transfer. She was like, just stick the first school year out. Like, if you still want to transfer at the end of the school year, you could transfer to Mizzou. But, like, just ride it all the way out through the first year because your mind might change. And sure enough, like second semester comes around, I started getting a little bit more comfortable. And I ended up just deciding I wanted to stay down there. And yeah, so I stayed at Loyola for all 4 years, graduated in 2017. Went and interned out in New York at Complex from June 2017 through September 2017. Then came back to New Orleans while I freelanced and everything for Complex. I freelanced for a year. So while I was freelancing for them, I stayed in New Orleans still until like May 2018. And then I went home to St. Louis like in May. And I was initially thinking I was just gonna come home for like a week or so and then go back to New Orleans. And then like one of my homies, Nate, he called me, one of my close friends now. Like funny enough, I met him one time in college when I went on a road trip up to Howard from New Orleans. He drove up to Howard. And I met him because he went to Howard. I met him while I was up there, and we just stayed like close. We stayed in contact after that. And he like convinced me on a whim. He's like, yo, you need to come out to LA. You need to like come out here, like move out here. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna just move to LA and not like on a week's notice. Yeah. So she's like, trust me, like come out here. Like I got a spot, like you can stay with me. Just come, like you need to be out here. I'm pretty sure you would do a lot more here than you would do in St. Louis or New Orleans, just having way more access to stuff. And so I went to LA. At first I told him, I was like, I'm only gonna come for the summer. I was like, I come for the summer. Like I come, spend like the summer there, and then I'll go back home or go back to New Orleans or whatever until I figure this shit out. Yep. I went for the summer. The summer turned into I didn't leave. And I've been here. It took me a minute to get my feet up under me, get situated and everything, you know, figure out where I fit in here and everything. But like I ended up staying in LA. Like I've been there since 2018 now. And yeah, that's pretty much everything.
That's dope. First off, you unpacked a lot there. So I gotta go back into the memory bank here and see. So, okay, so you said that you didn't really know the first 3 years of high school. You really didn't even have a clue as to what you were going to do, where you're going to go, where you're going to. Did you know that's like writing was like journalism was what you were going to go for? Or were you just kind of like,
bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like my first 2 years of high school, I was floating. I was like floating through. Like I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. Like I knew I hated math. I knew I hated science. Yep. I knew I was good at writing. I love to read. And like my teachers will always try to like push me in that direction. But like even if you're good at it in high school, you know, like if you're writing a paper or some shit, even if I'm like writing a good paper, it's not over something like I'm really like passionate about yet.
Yeah, so, exactly.
But like I said, my cousin Mark at the time when I was in high school, he was still writing for Yahoo, but he was covering NBA. He had been covering NBA for like 10, 15 years or something at that point. So like I knew what he was doing. Like when family reunions would come around and we would see him, and he would be like the coolest person at the family reunions. Like, yo, like you know fucking Kobe Bryant, like like yo, like bro, like that's crazy. So I want to say around my junior year, like my dad sat me down, like at the end of my sophomore year, going into like my junior year. He sat me down. He's like, "Yo, like you got to figure out." He's getting to that point kind of where you kind of need to start thinking about what it is you want to do after high school because you only got 2 years left. He's like, "I'll support you in whatever if you want to just like not go to college and get a job out of school or figure something out. Like that's fine with me. But if you want to go to college, it's time for you to start like really like figuring out what it is, the path that you want to take into a career." And so like at that around that time, I was reading fucking like Two Dope Boys blog every day, reading Grantland, ESPN, Complex, XXL magazines. I had all the XXL magazines in my room, Slam magazines and everything. So I was like, yo, like the storytelling shit probably kind of dope. So like I could see myself doing this. And so that's when Mark kind of like really got like on my head. Like he's like, you really want to do this seriously? Like I'll help you as much as I can, but you got to show me like you really want to do it. Yeah. And so I'll say probably around like midway through my junior year to end of my junior year is kind of when I really started to like put two and two together. Like I can really probably like do this for a living and like make a living doing it. Yeah. And of course, like at that time, I didn't have the thoughts of doing like a podcast or fucking nobody's doing podcasts really at that time. So I didn't even think of doing anything on camera or any like production or anything like that either. And like it's kind of crazy, like as time evolved, like as I got into my senior year of high school. When I went to J campus, honestly, when I first got like exposed to the fact like there's more than just editorial journalism. Of course, you see people on the news and shit. You see people on like the Today Show, the anchors and everything. But I had never thought of like being a producer or anything like that. That kind of like opened my mind up to like how much of a scope there is for journalism and everything that goes into like running media or doing like being involved in the media. And so that also like made me more interested because at that point I was like, all right, like, yeah, writing is dope, but I can tell stories in another way as well. And it still be a form of like journalism also. So yeah, like definitely my junior year, I'll say around 2015, 16, like when I was about 16 years old, 17 years old, like that's when I started to like realize, not 2015, 16, my timeline all the way fucking off. 2011, 2012, 2011, 2012, like when I was like 16, 17, that's when I was like, all right, I can really like make a living doing this. So that's probably when I figured out what it is I wanted to do for a living.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't even find out until college. So I mean, at least you got it out of college, out of high school. You figured that shit out. I figured it out when I was doing accounting. So
if I would have known, like when like how many people when I got to college didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do yet at the time, I wouldn't have felt like it's crazy. Like my dad really. It's funny because like my pops didn't finish college. Like of course, like I told you, my mom, dad, they had me, so they had to come back home. Right. But like it's funny, like he's like, yo, you need to figure this out. Like he's real old, so like you need to figure out what it is. And I get to college, and I'm like, yo, I'm like one of like the only people here who really knows what the fuck I want to do. Like I'm here for it. Like everybody else is just here partying and shit or trying to find themselves figured out. Like so, yeah. It's funny you bring that up because really, like a lot of kids when they first get on campus, they might think they know what they want to do, and then like you said, you were in accounting, and then you like just completely pivoted, or they might not know what they want to do at all, and they just find themselves as time goes on through their 4 or 5 years, however long they are in undergrad. So yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I only pivoted because I failed the shit, but I mean, I still had to pivot out.
Yo, numbers is not my thing. Like you're brave soul for even stepping off that ledge to get into accounting.
Bro, I don't even know why I did it. Like I like looked at the shit and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any of this means. I have no clue what's going on.
Yo,
I should have went for journalism right off the rip, but I'm like, I was thinking job security and shit. And then look at bro.
Like what made you get into accounting? But there you go, like right there, job security. Like for sure, there's money in it, but it's like you gotta go through hell to get to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I gotta pay bills and I gotta pay off these college loans. But I was still like, bro, like this shit is ridiculous. Like I don't even know what the fuck these words mean, bro. Like what the fuck?
I hated math. I think I had to take like 2 math courses my entire time in college, and I'm forever grateful for that I only had to take 2. Like forever grateful.
Yeah, bro. I had to take an online calculus class. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do
God
online
bless.
calculus?
Doing an online math class sounds like hell. I was looking at both of mine were in person. Like if I had to do anything online, like where I couldn't like ask like legitimate questions, get hands on like feedback, like I would have definitely failed. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Like I got a C in both of those math courses, and that was like a victory for me. Like, that was a victory for me. If I get a C in a math course,
Yeah,
that's like an A for me, bro. I passed. Like that was definitely it. Like I just addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That's all I need to know, bro. Anything after that, you talk to the wrong person for sure.
that's a fact. Now, you were a freelancer in Complex, and I remember you kind of saying something about kind of music writing being dead. And this was like early when I followed you, like 2020. So like I'm kind of curious as to like what was the pivot from music to sports in terms of like what career path you wanted to go down?
Bro, so funny enough, like I thought when I first got to college, I thought I wanted to just do sports journalism. Like that's really what I thought. Like when I first got to school, so the way Loyola was set up was you couldn't write for the school newspaper or anything until you had to be a journalism major, and then you had to take like 2 journalism courses to show like you were actually like a good enough writer to write for the newspaper. So my freshman year, we took like an intro to journalism class and an intro to multimedia journalism class. Passed both of those. So my sophomore year, first semester sophomore year, you have to take I think like journalism 250 or some shit like that, some like journalism class. And and you get assigned a beat in there like that. You have a beat that you get assigned. And so my beat my sophomore year was the women's volleyball team. And the thing is, it's not just you recapping a game. You have to like find interesting stories about the team like every other week. So I would have to get up and go to like their practices at 6 a.m. in the morning to like interview the coach or interview players, or go to their practices late, like they were practicing late at night or something, go to those practices. Then of course I would have to do every game. So at that point I'm like, yo, like this sports shit is like dead, bro. Like, yo, I'm not like, like I'm not rocking with this. And so, and of course at that time, like you said, I'm big into music. I love music. Like that's a big part of my day to day. Like even when I'm working, I have music on. And so, like I said, I was reading Complex heavy at the time, reading XXL, all of those places. And I was like, yo, let me start like writing like album reviews myself, like about albums that I'm interested in or that people listen to, write a review or write stories about different artists that I think would be interesting stories. And so like I want to say around like my sophomore year is when I kind of decided, or like my junior year, I decided I want to make a pivot. I didn't tell Mark at first. I was scared. I was like, yo, he's gonna fucking kill me. Like he's put all this time into me and everything for sports journalism, and I'm about to pivot to music. Like he's gonna be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And so I don't even remember how I ended up telling him, but like when he found out, he was like, yo, why did you like keep this from me? Like I wouldn't have gave a shit. Like I know people in music journalism as well. I can help you get connections there.
Yeah.
And so funny enough, he was fine with it. I started my own blog during, I want to say, my junior year of high school. Junior college. I started my own blog where I would write like different album reviews or think pieces and stuff like that. And when I graduated my junior year, I used that same blog when I applied for my editorial intern position at Complex. That was like on my resume. And when I put it on there, they looked at the stories that I had written and everything, and they brought me on board. Shout out to Shantae Cosme. She's no longer at Complex, but she's the person who pulled my resume, and like that's who I interned under. She was the news director at Complex at the time. I really feel like at that time, like I just felt like Complex was like super dope. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like they were doing a bunch of shit that I thought was like really cool. Like this was like right at the time when Everyday Struggle first started. I was like, yo, it's a genius idea to have like a rapper who's as outspoken as Joe Budden, like do a debate show with a guy who's like fucking hated, like DJ Academic. Like, like I was like, bro, like, this is a genius idea. Like this is actually pretty smart. And then they were having an interview. So like while I was up there interning that summer, like that's when they had like 2 Chainz come up there. The 21 Savage Amber Rose interview was that during that time.
Yeah.
T Grizzly. So like I would see these people in the mornings, like while I'm in there, like coming into work, like they would shoot Everyday Struggle like at 6 a.m. So like as I'm coming into work, these people would be like coming out of the office or everything, like, or they would be like just floating around the office. Like they finish Everyday Struggle, they'll do other shows and shit at Complex. So it was dope seeing it, and I really feel like at that time, Complex was really like pushing like they were they had like their finger on the pulse of like what was cool. And then like kind of like as my time there went on, like after I got an intern, I was freelancing, and when I was freelancing, I kind of just felt like I wasn't gonna have much room to like move up at Complex. If there was one thing I didn't feel like while I was working there, I just didn't think there was much room for upward mobility. I feel like I was gonna just get stuck in the same spot that I was in, and it was just gonna be hard for me to like move up. And so I made a decision, I want to say top of 2019. Like, so I was still doing work for them when I came out to LA. I want to say top of 2019. I just decided like it was like time for me to like leave. Like, there was some other things that like kind of like went on while I was there. I'm not gonna get like too into detail on like on this pod, but it kind of turned me off to like what was going on. Like Shantae had like left, and when she left, I didn't get like a heads up like that she was leaving.
Yeah.
So I didn't find out until like the week before. Like I had reached out to her to like say something. Like I was asking her about like trying to do a project, and she was like, I'm actually like thought to be out of here. Like, and I was like, yo, like I was like left in the dark on this. Like this is the person who I interned under, I worked hand in hand with pretty much like every day. And like I didn't even know about this. So so when that happened, I was like, yo, there's like nobody here who really is gonna have my back at this point. Like as a superior, like there's nobody like that's really gonna like be invested in my success or seeing me like really grow in this environment. And that kind of showed itself over the next like couple of months while I was there. Like, and so it was just time for me to like make a different. It was time for me to make a pivot, and so I left there, and I was doing work for like, of course, like Red Bull, Universal Music Group's Urban Legends department that they had, where I would do like when they have anniversaries for like different albums for artists that were on their label. I would do like stories for them on those artists and everything, doing stuff for the 100. So I was just doing a bunch of different freelance work, and until I got to Fox. Like, and the thing about it was the Fox thing was, I do this music stuff all the time. And I love writing about music, and I still want to like figure out the perfect way to incorporate music and sports and like bring them together. But like you said, you follow me on Twitter. Anybody follows me on Twitter, anybody knows me in real life knows how invested I am in sports as well. And like I had already been writing about sports throughout my first 2 years of college, and even like my senior year of high school. I was doing stuff. I was like writing shit, and I was sending it in to Mark, and just like to be stronger as a writer. And so it was like second nature to me. And so I applied for the job at Fox. And when I applied for it and I got the job, it was just like, yo, like I've already been doing this shit for like a couple years. I already love sports as it is. I could go ahead and work in sports media as well. So, and it's not like my day-to-day isn't just, I don't just like write stories and shit. Like it's a lot more detailed, a lot more stuff that I do. As far as like stories, helping content planning with stuff that we put out as a whole, like different type of social media stuff. That's kind of why I'm able to be on Twitter as often as I am throughout the day. Like people might look at me and see like, yo, this guy's on Twitter all day. Like, does he fucking work? It's kind of funny enough, part of my fucking job. So, so I've enjoyed my time at Fox Sports in the like year and a few months that I've been there for sure. And so that's how I made the transition into sports. I do feel like music journalism, though, get back to what you said, I do feel like on a large scale, as far as like on major publications, I don't feel like it's as strong as it once was. Like I've said this before, on the timeline. Like you guys, like you, Caleb, Armand, Braggart, all of you, all you guys, Richie, like you guys like have the best shit in my opinion. The shit that like I'm most interested in reading. Like I feel like you guys are actually like telling stories and being honest and truthful about it, like what it is that you feel and like what it is that you hear when it comes to music. I don't feel like you get that same type of genuineness on a major level right now. I don't feel like you. I can't remember the last time I read a story from a major publication and was moved by it, or like, this is like this is amazing. Like I can't remember the last time I felt that way reading anything from a major publication, like on a large scale. So like I said, you guys are like my favorite writers right now for sure. And I don't just say that because like I'm cool with you. I say it because it's truthful, because I have friends who write as well who I don't tell them they make my favorite shit. Like, so, but yeah, I just feel like I think you guys are hungry. Yeah. And not only just hungry, I think that when you're hungry, it pushes you to like make the best shit possible. And then I love like the community you guys have as well, like the camaraderie that you have as a group, because like I don't even think any of you guys live in the same city or anything. It's just like, just like linked up on Twitter, like, I like your work. You do great work. You do great work as well. We should collaborate, do like an end of year list or some shit. Like, I think that shit is dope, bro. And I think there's power in that as well. Like to change, like where I think we don't have much great music journalism on like a mainstream level. I think that you guys doing what you do and coming together and working together and doing this could like kind of change that, because it gets hard to ignore. Right. Like, it gets hard to ignore when you stay consistent and you are consistent, because I get the DMs every time you write something, like, so you're definitely consistent, and everybody, I think that whole group is consistent. And so, man, like, I think that it's just, I don't think there's a lot of great journalism or great storytelling at these major publications right now. Whereas I think that you guys, and I think also you don't have an editor or anybody to tell you no, or tell you that this is a bad idea, or we're not going to do it because we might have a relationship with this record label and we don't want to like put this out, or like politics or something get in the way. You can literally just wake up one morning, I have this idea in my head, I think this would be a dope story, and you can write it, and and it can come out. And when you have a following already on social media like you have, you can get eyes on your work pretty easily now. You don't have to it's not a struggle to get people to read your stuff. Like, people rock with you guys as writers, or not even just as writers. We just rock with you on Twitter, period. Want to see you do good. Oh, wait, Brandan, he's always talking about music as it is. He's writing about a fucking rapper with his album right now. Like, let me go ahead and peep. Like, I'll read 280 characters, or however fucking many characters it is for Twitter limit. I might as well go ahead and read 1,000 words or some shit. It's not that hard. So I just think that that's really what it is, man. I think that you guys have a chance to like really like make an imprint, and I think it's dope to see what you guys do on a day-to-day.
Well, first off, I appreciate that putting me in that group, because I mean, those are all my close friends and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I will say that is a group that, like, in terms of like the music Twitter group, like there's nobody like the music journalism group. I don't think I've ever been in like a group like that where like you like empower each other so much. You know what I mean? It's very funny because when I interview Caleb, I'm trying to think like, how the fuck did I follow him? And I still don't.
I don't remember how I followed Caleb or how you followed me. I think Caleb might be a bot, bro. Like Caleb might be a bot. He might be artificial intelligence or some shit. Like he just popped up out of thin air one day and like, like this kid is like, he's asking me to write for him or write with him. I'm like, for sure. Like, whatever. And then like to see like the way Caleb, like just seeing him do his end of year thing and him asking me to be a part of it. And then when I come be a part of it, and then I look at who all, like how he's able to get this many people to say, not just to like be able to reach out to this many people, but the amount of people who just say yes. Like that speaks to like how people like respect you and feel about you. That people will be like, yo, yeah, I'll definitely do it. Like you said, yourself, Richie, Jason. I'm probably forgetting it. Armand, he was on. Like, it's so many people. Like but for you to get 10 people or something to agree to like write a blurb or write 2 blurbs, and it turns into a full end of year list, like with a bunch of different opinions, and there's something for everybody. So I think that's dope. Like, I think that like stuff like that is like, it's really dope to see him be able to pull that off, like to make that happen for sure.
Yeah, I told him when he was doing, so he did like the mid-season, like the mid-year like albums that everyone enjoyed, and then he did this latest one for the end of the year. I'm like, you are like on some DJ Khaled level of right now.
Yeah, bro.
Like West Side Gun shit. Like, it's wild. Like,
like I remember I did the mid-year and the end of year one for him, and like just like Caleb, I told him every time, like, bro, like when you reach out, like he's always like, yo, like I appreciate you doing this, like it means the world. I'm like, bro, like the fact you even value my opinion this much is like how could I tell you no if you reach out to me and you like, and I see you really want to do this.
Yeah,
like I'll lend my name and or help to you as much as I can, because I see you. This is something you're passionate about. He's not just doing it and then disappears for like months and doesn't come back with anything else. Like, he's pretty consistent, bro. Like, he really is serious about this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, I'll help you as much as I can for sure.
Yeah. He's got the best. I tell him he's got the best ideas when it comes to writing a story. Because like when I was doing the whole, like, I didn't write all of January because I'm like, I don't even feel inspired. I don't want to write nothing right now.
Yeah.
Nothing besides Dirk's album was coming out where I was like, ooh, I need to write about this shit. Like, nothing really came out where I was like, but like he always finds some shit to write about. Like, not just keep busy, but like keep like consistent. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to fucking do this shit, bro. Like, god damn,
it's crazy, bro. The kid is crazy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's crazy.
But to get to your point about the whole, like, there's not a lot of authenticity in the music, like journalism. It's kind of like, I agree, and I'm probably fucking myself doing this, but whatever. I feel like it, you know, I don't go to Complex to like read shit no more. You know what I mean? I don't go to XXL to read nothing anymore. I go to like Passion Weiss, where I see Richard, or I could see Jeff Weiss, or I could see Caleb writing and myself and whatever. And then I can go to like, I mean, I'll go to Pitchfork because Alphonse is on there. That's one of my favorite.
Alphonse is dope as well.
Yeah, but like I can go to like everyone's like what's the word? It's like a Medium page or something like that, and just see everyone writing their shit right there. So I'm like, you know, they're Substacks. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, that's pretty.
Like, bro, like I don't really go to like the major publications. I go to XXL still because the homie Robbie writes for them, and then of course, like you said, Alphonse for Pitchfork. But like anything else, like as far as music goes, like it's really amongst you guys. Like you are probably the people that I'm reading the most, 100%. So, like I said, there's power in it. When you can generate an audience like of genuine followers or a following of people that are just interested in your work and they feel like you write the best shit. Yeah, you'll succeed, bro. Like you'll be fine for sure.
Yeah. Now I have one more question before we move on. You brought up the DM thing. Do you ever like see a DM from me and be like, dude, fuck off? Like, I don't want to, because I feel like I DM a lot of people my articles. I'm like, people are probably like, dude, stop fucking sending me this shit, bro.
Bro, of course, there's some mornings where I'm like, all right, bro, it's the first thing I'm seeing when I'm looking. Like, but it's like, yo, you gotta respect the consistency, because I was kind of like, I didn't DM people my stories or everything when I was first starting, but like as far as like professionals and shit or people that I looked up to, like I would send them my shit consistently. Like, yo, tell me how you feel about this. Tell me what you think about it. Like, yo, trying to get feedback. So I understand, bro. I truly understand. So I haven't snapped on you yet, bro. So like you're good. Like you're fine. Like, trust me.
Yo, because I always forget though that you're in Los Angeles. So like if I'm sending at 11, like I'm thinking like at 11 o'clock for me, and you're waking up at 8
o'clock. Exactly. I roll over and I'm looking at my DM, or I look at my phone and I see a DM from you. Like, all right, hold on, man. Like, I'll get to this. Like, let me get my life situated. Let me get up, shower, brush my teeth, eat or some shit. Like,
I never take it personal, of course, because I don't really give a shit. It's just I'm sending it out all the time. It's just I'm hitting everybody at once with the shit. But like, I don't really take into account like, you know, different time frames and shit. And I'm like, I'm sending people shit at 6 a.m. to them. Like, they don't give a fuck right now.
You're all good, bro. Trust me. If I have not like snapped or said anything, like you're fine. Trust me.
All right, bet. So let's talk. This shit's funny though. So let's talk about Los Angeles and Fox Sports now, because you know you're there. And was there ever like a moment like, because Fox Sports wasn't really like big, you know what I mean? Like it just started getting really big because of, you know, the shock jock.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, and I wrote about it, you know, understandably you didn't. But but you know, who have you been able to work with? Have you been able to work with like everyone down there, from like Colin Cowherd and Joy Taylor, like Shannon Sharp and Skip and them, or are you in a separate like in a separate like room type of deal? Like what is
so the funniest thing about Fox Sports is like we have like it's like two different worlds, bro. Like so there's FS1, which is where all the shows are at, and then there's like Fox Sports, which is where I'm at. We have two different, like we're not even all on even the same like building in campus, bro. Like the office I was working out of was in Culver City. I mean not Culver City, Playa Vista. And so that's where I was working at, and where they shoot all the shows and do like Undisputed, The Herd, First Things First and everything. I believe that's like down in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So,
damn.
I've never worked like hand in hand with any of like our on-air talent.
Okay.
I've been involved in like content plans and coming up with like shit like surrounding them, like that group of people, but I've never directly worked hand in hand with any of them yet. So that's the funny part. Like, of course, like my ultimate goal is to end up being like a producer. Like I want to produce like shows. Like I want to like eventually be the person who like writes the scripts, produces the shows for these people and everything. So I haven't had the chance yet. And of course, like the pandemic hit. Like you got to think, I got hired at Fox, I want to say October 2019.
Okay.
So late September, early October. So I was in the office October, November, December. Go home, come back December, January, February. So for like 6 months, I was still kind of like getting like comfortable, like figuring myself out there. And then the pandemic hits. And when the pandemic hits, like in March, like we've been working from home literally since March 2020 all the way to now. So basically a full calendar year. Like we've been in the house. So I haven't like they were one of the things, like one of my superiors was like big on, he's like, yo, I gotta get you over to the lot, which that's where they show our shows. Like I gotta get you over there so you can meet these people. So like you can start like kind of like getting a little bit more experience doing stuff over there with them if you want to be a producer. And literally right as like we had planned for me to like go over there and everything, like it was gonna be like a couple of days I was gonna go work from down there. The pandemic hits. And so like I haven't had the chance yet. So like, but yeah, it's dope. Like it's crazy. Like you see Fox, like you kind of get taken back a little bit. Like you're like, all right, Fox Sports, like, all right, where like this is how's this gonna be when I go in like to the office, the interviews, everything like that. But it's actually the people that I work with on a day to day. It's a really dope group of people. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like when I went and interviewed for them for the job, they like immediately like were high on me. Like they were high on me. I had to take like a writing test after I interviewed. Like it was like a Friday I did the interview. They're like, you have to take this writing test, go home, like figure out like it was like a crazy test they made me do. Like it was like 3 or 4 stories. I had to figure out 3 or 4 like news stories, sports stories that weekend. Like they didn't give me the ideas. I had to go like find them. Yeah. Write like write a write-up or something and figure out like a social media plan for them and everything. And then have it back to them on Monday. So this is a Friday I got it. I had to have it back over to them on Monday, bro. Like they put me through like it's like a crazy like writing test that they put you through once you get through like the first round of interviews. Like to see if you really are like the person who can balance like editorial and social and everything. So I did that and I killed it. And I think I got lucky also, like the weekend that this happened. It was like right before the NBA season started. It was like right when Zion first tore his meniscus. And so I was like, all right, I'm lucky. Like, don't want to wish injury on anybody, but like that's a story right there. So like,
Yeah.
I have that, and it was like two other things. I think it was right when it was Yankees and Astros game 6, I believe. Game the weekend of game 6 when Altuve hit the fucking walk-off home run against the Yankees.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I'm fucking lucky again. Like, like the stars were like kind of aligning for me that weekend. And so I got lucky with those stories. And so it kind of made my job easier for figuring that shit out. And so when I sent that back in, they called me back on that Friday, the following week. And they were like, yo, we want to give you the job. And I was like, okay, bet. Like, I'll definitely take it. Like, it's cool. Like, when I went up to the campus and everything, the campus is dope. It's a bunch of different, like, companies on the campus with us and everything. It was like a bunch of people. But it was like a dope environment. Like, really, really cool people, really good people, really welcoming people. And so it was somewhere I could see myself working. And like I said, I've been there for like a year and a few months now. So it's all good.
And that summer of you just kind of chilling with your friend in Los Angeles turned into living there now, which is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You still like living with him, or you got on your own?
No, I'm in my own. I've gotten situated and everything. Like,
there you go.
I spent like that time with them and everything. Like, I think like that summer, like after that summer, I got up and I was out. Like I had saved up and everything. Like when you're working, even if it's just like freelancing at the time, like the amount of work that I was doing for Complex at the time, it was damn near like a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so like I was making enough money, and when he wasn't making me pay bills, he wasn't making me take care of anything. So it's literally just all coming to me.
Yeah.
So I was saving it, and like I looked up at the end of the summer, I was like, yo, like I'm ready to like get up out of here. Like it's time for me like figure this shit out. I can go figure out my own spot and everything. So yeah, it's been all good since then.
That's a real one right there. Salute to that man.
Yeah, shout out to Nate, bro. Like still talk to him like damn near every day. Like that's one of my close friends for sure.
For sure, absolutely. Now, that pandemic basically helped start Elite, though, I feel like, because you guys were kind of talking about it for a little bit, and then eventually you finally made, the transition to Twitter and making it, the media platform it is. And I feel like one of the biggest things that you guys got criticized for, and I only know this because someone that I went to college with continuously berates you guys, is the James Harden sources, the James Harden.
Oh my God, we can talk about
story. And so I know this kid because I literally graduated college with him. And so I remember every day he would tweet, apologize for being wrong about this and this. And then if it came out that he had COVID.
Yeah.
So I tweeted at him, like, I think you owe them an apology.
Yeah.
And of course he didn't do it because he's not going to.
Of course not.
I know
who I know
he's not going to apologize.
Yeah. No, the James Harden situation, that was definitely the moment where I think we announced our arrival for better or for worse. But so funny enough, like it caught me off guard when it went up, like when the tweet went up and everything. Like, so I'm gonna leave as many people's names out of this as possible. Like, of course, we ended up being vindicated, so we were proven right. It took like months, but so one morning, like I think it was like I don't even remember what day it was, but it was like right before the bubble, right when they were going to the bubble. Of course, James Harden and Russ weren't there yet. It comes out Russ had like caught COVID.
Yeah.
And so like if you were smart and you were able to put 2 and 2 together at the time anyway, the whole Rockets team went to the bubble except for Westbrook and Harden, who are like best friends, and like Russ has COVID, but like they're not saying why James Harden isn't in the bubble yet.
Yeah.
Like if you put 2 and 2 together, you can figure out. But of course, we didn't run with it off of speculation. So we had a source. Like when you have this many people who are like kind of know people inside of the NBA or around NBA media, you can get information pretty easy. So we had a source who was close to, trying to leave names out of this. So we had a source that was close to an NBA team in Texas.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say which team.
Okay.
That team knew people on the Rockets.
Yep.
Source on that team spoke to the Rockets. Rockets told them that James had COVID, had contracted it. It gets back to us. I'm not aware of all of this at the time. I'm at the mall. Like me and Mike are at the mall, bro. Mike is in it. Well, that's what I live with now. Like we're at the mall. We're driving back from the mall. I get back to the crib. I look at my phone. I see I'm getting DMs from people in the league, like 2 people in the league. And they're like, yo, like we gotta, it's a big day for us. Like we got a bomb show about to drop. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, yo, like I'm thinking we this is like, we're still like making stories and everything. It's like the beginning of us like doing editorial work. I'm thinking, yo, like what story do we have dropping? Like somebody has a story dropping today? They're like, no, like we got a scoop. Like we have a crazy scoop. I was like, what is the scoop? Like you're talking in code right now. Like, he's like, yo, like we're tweeting out at like 3 p.m. like we have the insiders like scoop on the James Harden situation. I was like, so me being an apprehensive person I am, I'm like, are we sure we want to do this? Like, are we sure we want to be the ones to like break this news? Because I was like, because my thought process was, if we have this information, then Woj and Shams for sure have this information. And if they haven't like broken it yet, then there probably is a reason that they haven't like this like made it public. It's like, so are we sure we want to be the people to do this? Like, are we sure? They were like, yo, like they were like, yo, like what do we have to lose or anything like that? And I forgot what we had just broken, like 2 different stories at Elite beforehand. I can't remember what it was. The last summer was wild. Like you said, the pandemic was crazy for Elite. And I'm trying to remember, like right before that we were early on 2 different things. And I can't remember what it was. I can't remember it. Well, first one was was when Jokic was going to arrive in the bubble. We were early on that. Like we beat everybody with Jokic is going to be in the bubble this day. Then like the next day, Chris Haynes comes out and tweets the same thing. Like, so that basically proved we were right. And then I can't remember what the other one was. So we were on like a 2 for 2 streak. So I was like, I knew who our source was, and I trusted him. I trusted this person. But I was like, are we just sure? Like, because if we put this out and James doesn't come out and confirm it, we're gonna get killed. Like, even if we are right, like people are gonna like, this is what we're gonna be known for. They was like, let's do it. I was like, all right, like that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it, like, bro. So like, all right, like I'm not gonna be the one person to hold us up if like the majority of the group feels it's the right thing to do, or if they feel like we should do it, and do it. So of course we put it out, it catches fire. People in the quote replies are like, yo, like they're pretty reputable. They've been right about this, been right about this. And then of course there are people like, this isn't a verified account. Like, how are they gonna know that he has COVID? Like the typical shit. And like I get it. Like I'm skeptical of shit the same way. Like, yo, if it's not coming from like somebody that I truly trust or know that they have a history of it, of like breaking these type of stories, like I'm gonna be skeptical as well too. So of course, like there's no confirmation of him having COVID for like however many months or whatever. So like for 3 or 4 months after that happened, like anytime we would tweet anything from the account, of course it would be people apologize to James. Like, are you going to delete the James Harden tweet? Are you going to delete it or whatever? So that kind of got annoying as well. And we had got like there had been confirmation from other people or sources that we knew that were like, yo, you guys were right. But that was a learning experience for sure, because after that happened, like we had a conversation amongst one another, and I was like, yo, like I think we were right. Like we were clearly right because we got proven to be right. But like I think this is one of those times where you learn, like, even if you have information, you don't have to disclose it. Like, because what was there for us to gain in doing that? Like at the time, like of course we've proven that we are reputable again, but like who's to say going forward, like we have a chance to like work with James Harden and he might remember that we did that, like broke that news without him wanting it to get out, and he might hold it against us or something. And I'm not saying he will, but it's just like, we just got to be mindful of stuff like that. So it was a learning experience for sure. Like, we learned like, all right, there is power in like when we we have reputable sources, like people that are connected that really want us to like succeed because they give us this type of information. But also, like sometimes you just got to know when to hold on to something. Like, and I don't think I think that we've come to the realization since then, we aren't necessarily in the business of breaking news. Like we aren't Woj, we aren't Shams. Like we're kind of more, we want to be more into the storytelling, give you like introspective type of stories and stuff like that, more so than breaking news. Like I don't want to be Shams. I don't want to be Woj. Like
No.
I can't compete with them. I don't want to compete with them. So I don't want to compete with them. So we just pretty much let them have that lane, and we'll continue to do what we're doing. And what we're doing has helped us. Like we've gotten over. We started the Twitter account, like you said, that summer. That was like in the summer when we started last summer. So we've had the Twitter account for like 5, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. My math is off. Clearly, like I said, I suck at math. But and we got like 12,000 followers since then, and like we get a lot of engagement from a lot of important people from time to time. Got some followers from some important people, and so I think we're doing the right thing that we're doing now. Like I said, that was just a learning experience for sure. Like it was just funny. Like I was nervous when we tweeted it out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was in Mike's bedroom. I was in the room with Mike. I was like, yo, like this shit is like scaring me because like if we're wrong about this, like this kills everything. But like
every momentum,
exactly, it kills everything. But it ended up being right, and we took a little minor victory lap after it was right. But like I said, it's a learning experience. Sometimes you just got to know what to post and what not to post. And even though we had that, like going forward, I think we'll just we'll handle that differently going forward for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think people understand what kind of like who is behind this all behind this, because you know what I mean, like Fox and like people that aren't just like random trying to like get on, or it's not like it's just random dudes. Like you are people who work behind the scenes with a lot of shit, and you know the sources come very easily to you guys. And I think the big thing for like not me but like for other people where like they look at you kind of crazy elite is like guys like Kendrick Perkins kind of being behind it, and you know saying elite and all that shit. And it's kind of like people look at Kendrick like he's a clown at this point, and it's like it doesn't hurt the brand, because certainly like someone like him is not going to hurt anything at all. But like people's perceptions of him, like people take the debate shit too seriously, I think. Like even when I wrote that, I was like, I don't even know why I did it, because like I get it kind of ruins NBA media in a way, but at the same time it's like no one really takes this shit as like
And the funny thing with like we get it, like we know if we stand next to Perk or Perk stands next to us, like you're gonna get some of the like pushback that he gets you're gonna get it as well. Like we understand that, we know the territory that comes with it. But what I will say about Kendrick Perkins is he was one of the first people, like when we started everything, like he was one of the first people who actually like played in the NBA, who works in like media, who like reached out and was like, salute, like I see what you guys are doing, like keep going. Like so like we get it, like people don't like Perk for whatever reason, they don't like him, like whether they're valid or not. But at the end of the day, he was one of the first people to really like put his name behind us and like lend us a hand, like come on Play for Keeps podcast, or even like shouting us out on the jump, or like shouting us out on the timeline. Like so we are appreciative of that, and we know like we said, we know Perk isn't the most liked person. Like we understand, we know the territory comes with it. We don't take it personally. Like that's the thing also. We don't take anything we see on the timeline personally. Like we've seen the subtle shots that people have sent at us or whatever it might be, whatever. Like we get it. Like we know how Twitter is. We know how the internet is. We know everybody's not gonna like you. We know everybody's not gonna be on your side. We don't take it personally at this point. We actually laugh at it. We got the group chat and everything. We see whenever people like are trying to clown or anything, like we actually laugh at it amongst one another. Like we don't take it personally at all. So,
right.
Like, it is what it is. Like, but like it's rolls off the shoulders, nothing major.
Absolutely. And that's a good thing, because you know sometimes the social media shit can fuck you up a little bit if you take it too seriously. And it's just like you guys don't seem to really like take it to heart, especially because you see how, like we talked about earlier, like you see how Trevor tweets, like he just is just having fun on the shit, you know what I mean? And so is everyone else, you know what I mean?
He's tweeting to fucking piss you off.
Yeah.
Trevor, he's leaned into this character all the way now, like because he knows how easy it is to piss people off on the timeline. Like, so he's leaning all the way into it. But yeah, man. Like there was a point in time where like I kind of took this shit on Twitter like too seriously. Like if somebody would like say something like I felt was disrespectful, or even I found myself at times in the past, like when I was younger, like debating something too hard. And then like as you get older, you mature, you're like, yo, this person's not paying me, or I don't really know this person. Like in the grand scheme of things, we can have a conversation without it getting disrespectful. So like you just grow, you learn, you figure it out. Twitter is like it's unlike any other social media platform because you can literally talk to anyone. So like it kind of invites that type of energy. It invites that type of negativity at times. And if you aren't like strong enough, you can fall victim to it. But if you are, you can just like take it for what it is. And I think we've all having this group, the elite group, and then building a brand and a platform, you kind of just realize like, yo, like it's going to happen. It comes with it.
Yep. Full circle to our situation as well.
Exactly. So,
Absolutely. Now, Play for Keeps podcast.
Yeah.
You have been interviewing some very big people, bro. Like Kevin Durant shit threw me for a loop. I was like, holy shit, they got Kevin Durant on their fucking podcast.
First guest that we had on it.
That is insane. Like just seeing that shit, like how did that happen? Simple question. How the fuck did that happen?
How did the KD Play for Keeps happen?
Yeah.
All right, so pretty much how it happened was you know Bansky. Everybody knows Bansky.
Of course.
Everybody knows Bans. So Bans is, for whatever reason, one day Kevin Durant took a liking to and followed him. And like he followed him on Twitter and like DM'd him and everything, and like they talking basketball and everything, ended up having conversations with you, dude. Bans is somebody who I've known since I was interning at Complex. Like he followed me on Twitter because I did a story on my first story I did for Complex, first major story while I was interning was like the top hip hop duos, and I had Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan on it. And he was like, and he really like rocks with Rich Gang and Young Thug heavy.
Yeah.
And so, like when I tweeted it out, he commented on it and he was like, yo, like shout out to the love for Rich Gang and everything. And so he followed me, I followed him, and like we had just been cool since then. This was 2017. And so bands I've done work with him with Imagine and a bunch of different like stuff before anything. Like he would look after me, like if I wanted to like write or do any like freelance work and he knew any avenue that I could do it for, he would look after me in a way like that. And so when he got close with Kev, Ban's also like a member of Elite. So when he got close to Kev, he introduced he introduced me to Kev and everything like that. He like kind of bridged the gap. And so Kev, when the Nets were out here playing Lakers, literally right before the pandemic hit, it was like the last game before the NBA season got shut down. After the game, I went to dinner with them and everything. Like that was the first time we met in person. Like we had talked through like text and everything before that, but like that was the first time we met in person. And he was like super cool guy. Like he's like if there's any way to describe him, like he's literally one of us. He just happens to be 7 feet tall and shoot from 30 feet and everything. Like he's literally one of us. Like the conversations we have on the timeline, the conversations we have amongst one another, like he's interested in the same exact shit. Like he's literally like a regular person. So we end up having dinner that night. Like I went to dinner. It was like him and some of the other Nets players and everything, and like his like entourage. And so we were there. Me and Trev were there with them. And so we stayed in contact after that. And of course, like when the pandemic hit and the season got shut down, he lives in LA like during the off season. He has a crib out in LA and everything. So
Okay.
I was already like thinking about starting a podcast. We went over. He invited us over one time. Like it was like a random like Thursday afternoon and shit. Nobody was doing shit. He was like, "Yo, just pull up, just like come over." And it's like, "All right, like we'll come over." We came over to the crib. We over there just chilling, kicking it, you know, watching TV and shit.
Yeah.
We talking about the pod and everything. And he was like, "Yo, you start the pod. I want to come on." He's like, "I'll come on. Like I'll do it." I'm like, bro. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. Like it's like KD saying like he's gonna do the podcast. It's like, yo, it's Kevin Durant. Like, is he really gonna do it? Like, so like a month goes by, we start the pod, me and Drew. We do like an first episode. He reaches back out. He's like, yo, like I told you I want to do the pod. Like, are you he's like, I told you I want to do it. I was like, yo, all right, if you serious, like we record on Sundays, like you could come on the next episode. Like,
yeah.
Like, all right, bet. I was like, so you want to do it in Zoom, or you want to do it on Zoom call, or like do you want us to pull back up, like do it in person? And he was like, pull back up. He's like, come back over Sunday night. Like we can do it at the crib. So I was like, all right, bet. So we came back over to the crib. Came back over, recorded it, put it out, and like it was all over ESPN, Fox, everything for like the next day. Like, because he gave us a lot of good content. Like we went in. It was like a regular conversation because like I said, we knew him already and everything. We were like cool with him. So it was like it's us talking about shit that we would probably normally talk about. Got like his opinion on who he thought was gonna go to the finals, how the Nets were doing in the season, even though Kyrie and himself weren't playing. Just a bunch of different stuff, and he talked about everything. Like, so yeah, like Kev's he's a really good guy, bro. Really dope dude. Like I talked to him now, like with bands and everything, like, and then shout out Pierce Simpson, the homie Pierce and everything, like just like consistently talk to those guys day to day, pretty much. Like it's like it's a surreal thing, pretty much, like to be able to say like you interviewed him and then he's like become a homie. But
yeah, I feel like Kevin Durant's always just kind of trying to shoot the shit, and especially that when you listen to Bansky's podcast with them, it's like, oh, he's definitely just a Twitter dude. He really is,
bro. Real talk, bro. Like he's just like a regular person, bro. Like that's what a lot of people gotta like realize, and not just about him, but these celebrities in general. Like once you get past the fact that they're like rich and you see them on TV every day, like they have the same interests as us. They like they're really just like us. They're interested in the same exact shit. So yeah.
And how do you feel? You know, because you do the podcast by seasons, correct? Or are you just dropping?
We're about to we're in the process of getting ready to start season 2 of Play for Keeps. We finished season 1. Last episode was with 1985.
Yeah.
Produced it. And so we took a hiatus after that. We were like, all right, we did I think 14 episodes for the first season. We transitioned fully into trying to be an interview-based podcast, because that was like our best performing content. Like when we had KD, Perk, Rashad, Jerome Randall, 1985. When we had all those guests, Tyler Cook when he was on the Denver Nuggets. When we had all of those different guests on, those are clearly the episodes that our listeners gravitated to the most.
Yeah.
Like, so we decided we're gonna take a break, map out all of the different people that we're gonna interview for the next season, and go from there. So we have some surprises lined up for season 2 for sure. And we're close to getting ready to start season 2 back up. Yeah. And when we started back up, like I think that the response will be just what it was for season 1, hopefully even greater. So yeah.
I want to see if I can get something out of here with one of the interviews. Is it a St. Louis-based athlete?
Not yet. No St. Louis-based athlete.
You know the two I had in mind, so I know
you had in mind, and hopefully, like, pretty sure at some point we're probably going to be able to get one, if not both, on. Yeah, like that's the plan, but that is not who we have yet lined up for this season.
if I come across you guys interviewing one of those two and you lied to me, I'm gonna be pissed.
You'll know first. I'll let you know for sure. Since you asked now, I'll let you know if we're interviewing one of them for sure. I'll definitely give you the heads up.
Absolutely. Bet. I love that. Because I feel like the interviews are always just more entertaining, or just that. I mean, that's why I love doing this shit, because like interviewing people that like are working their ass off, or like doing some shit that like everyone finds fun, and you just want to hear that kind of person be themselves and have like, have a personality outside of, knowing them for basketball is pretty cool. Like like I said, like listening to KD talk and listening to Perkins talk, it's just like, it's so cool to just kind of see them laid back and not just doing their job. You know what I mean?
Facts. They like really comfortable. Like it's like these people, like at some point you'll get to a point where you're interviewing people like this as well, bro. Trust me. And you'll come to realize like once they feel comfortable with you, they'll tell you not anything, but like they'll open up to you. Like they'll have a conversation with you on like while it won't even feel like an interview. It just feel like you're talking like to this person, like having a regular conversation. Like it's
it's the best shit.
Sure. Bro. For sure.
Now, before you go, I need to know some of the tweets. Again, you're not Trout level, but you have your moments. You have your moments of getting killed.
Oh, I definitely lay bait as well sometimes, bro. I'm a troll as well sometimes, for sure.
I'm gonna give one, and then I want to hear what other ones you've gotten killed for. So the one that I remember specifically was the tweet of like the four. I just lost the name. What is it? With the statues and shit.
Mount Rushmore. Oh yeah,
yes, Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
When I had Lil Baby, Future, Young Thug, and Drake on the Mount Rushmore.
yeah. You got killed. You got a little bit killed for that one. I agreed with it low key, but I was like, you know what? Whatever. And then this is what was funny though, because you were like, I think we're overrating Lil Baby a little bit. I'm like, you put him on a Mount Rushmore, dog.
So yeah, like of course, like top of the year last year, bro. Like I'm a huge Lil Baby fan. Like I'm gonna put that out there right now. Like everybody, if you follow me on Twitter, you know, like I was early on the Lil Baby is like that. Like I was early on it. Like so, like before my turn, everything. I was like, yo, Lil Baby is coming. Like he's coming, bro. Like and then my turn happened. I was like, yo, he's the best rapper right now. I'm letting people know he's the best rapper. And I put him on the Mount Rushmore last summer. I put him on the Mount Rushmore. Put the Mount Rushmore tweet up. People were killing me. Like, why is Lil Baby on here? Why is Drake on here? Why is Future and Young Thug? Like, people were, whatever section of Twitter it reached, like, there were different people who were pissed off about either one person being on it, two people being on it, everybody being on it. But I knew it was going to piss people off. But, like, that was one of my favorite tweets I put out. But, yeah, I think we got to the point where I was like, all right, people were starting to say, like, Lil Baby is, like, his run was like a 2008 Lil Wayne run. I was like, all right, wait, I'm like, we gotta step back. That's why I was like, all right, we might be overrating him a little bit, like, and I love him, but like, we gotta like reel it in just a little bit. Like, I was being funny with the Mount Rushmore because those are like my four favorite rappers at the time. But I was like, all right, hold on, like now we gotta like slowly reel this back in. Like, it's getting a little bit outrageous. That's not even one of the ones I've gotten killed for the most though. Like, no, I've gotten killed so many times for tweets, bro, just being funny. Like, I can't even remember. Like, which ones have I gotten like the most negative drawback? Oh, let's just go like 2 weeks ago. I wasn't even trying to be an asshole or be funny, bro, or anything. Like, Paul George, the Nets were playing the Clippers.
Yeah.
And Paul George was 10 for 23, bro. And he's shooting 50% from the field on the season. 10 for 23 is 43%. That's what he shoots for his career. All I did was put up Paul George is 10 for 23. And I put that's history meme from fucking Uncut Gems. Like, just pointing out that this is who he really is. Like, and everybody's like, oh, you're reaching. He didn't even play bad. He didn't play a bad game. Like, yeah, the Paul George slander. I got crushed for that. So I had to mute it. Like, I was getting, like, people were coming at me. I'm like, yo, I wasn't tweeting this to, like, shit on Paul George, bro. I was tweeting it because, like, when he came back to, like, who he really has been throughout his career and not the 50% shooter that he has been this season, the Clippers lost, bro. Like, and it wasn't me trying to be funny. It was me pointing out, like, yo, if he doesn't shoot 50% every night, like, it's gonna be hard for them to beat elite teams, bro. He's playing out of his mind. Like, I got killed for that one. Bro, it's been so many times. I probably get killed. Like, I don't get killed as much as I used to. Like, because I've kind of like drawn back on like getting real controversial on the timeline. But like, bro, there was a point like last summer, the pandemic, when like everybody was just in the house, like on Twitter, like I was getting killed like once a week, bro. Like, I was getting thrown across like plenty of times, like because like for anything, bro, I was getting killed. So like, it is what it is. It comes to territory. Like, if you tweet long enough, you're gonna have your days where you get smoked. Like, it just happens. It comes to territory. I wear it like a badge of honor at this point. I don't get smoked as much as Trev. Trev gets smoked more than anybody I know Trev has a legit beef. Like him in Bay Area Twitter, Warriors Twitter, like
oh my God, bro. I forgot
the Cold
about that
War.
shit. Yeah, we gotta talk about that for a second.
It's a
That
Cold
shit
War.
is like that shit is violent.
Yes, like
That
they
shit
hate
is
Trev. Like they really hate him, and like there are people who have like burner accounts that are like dedicated to like just shitting on Trev all day. Like it's crazy. Like Trev is like him. It's like he's like an unofficial spokesperson for Clutch Sports, and the Warriors Twitter hates like. You know, it's like the LeBron and Warriors beef or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Trev is like one of the most vocal like LeBron stands is like, and then like he will never pass up an opportunity to take a jab at Steph Curry, bro. Like so the Warriors Twitter is like they are like not fucking with him at all, bro. So like
I feel like Warriors Twitter doesn't really know that like Trev is just kind of bullshitting, but like
they don't care.
Take it to heart. Yeah, they don't give a
they
shit.
do not care, bro. No. They do not care at this point. Like they don't realize like Trev is like really just trying to get under their skin. He succeeds every time, and I don't think they care that he's just trying to get under their skin. They just really hate him at this point, bro. And it's so funny to me. It's like
now here's a question: Is it worse for Trout or is it worse for Brandan, which is Trap Sinfino?
Oh my God, bro! I don't know who get like Yo, this is honestly a crazy question. Like, like to sit here and like try to think about like who gets it worse between. Like, I've seen Trev get put in a pack plenty of times on time, but I've also seen Brandan get put in a pack like a lot of times. Like, and the thing is, they're like one and the same because. But the thing is, I think Brandan like really believes some of the shit he says, bro. Like,
he does, yeah.
I've been following him for like a few years now, and it's like. I really think he believes some of the shit. That's what makes it so crazy with him. Like, it's like, yo, like that's why I haven't like people like see me and Brandan going back and forth, bro. Like, and they're like, why don't you just block him? Like, it unfollow. Like, I can't because like it's like I'm doing like a case study with him. Like the fact that he believes everything he says. Like, I have to. How much more outrageous can he get? Like I'm sticking around for it. Like I love to see it. Like I'm like, yo, every time he says something crazy, it's like, yo, I can't even believe you said this. Like I don't even get like frustrated anymore. I just laugh. I was like, yo, this kid is crazy. Like he's really insane.
He hates Drake, Tupac, and Wayne. I'm like, what?
He hates all three. Like
I mean, Wayne I could somewhat see because of recent activity, but like Tupac, what for what?
Bro, he hates all of them. He hates Future. He hates like, bro. I think he hates 50 Cent. Like, I'm like, bro, you're from New York. He's like, I'm from the Bronx. like, he's like, I'm from the Bronx. Like, he's from Queens. Like, he hates 50 Cent. Like, I've never seen like he just despises like 90% of shit that like everybody else likes. Like,
I told him that podcast is gonna be great when I get him on here. That shit is gonna be.
That's gonna be hilarious. That's gonna be must listen for sure. Like
God.
He is like a different level. Like I can't even call him a troll because it's not trolling. It's like
I think it is in some way because he knows what's gonna happen, but he also believes it 100%.
He believes it,
which
he
is
believes
great.
His thing. Like it's crazy.
That's my guy, and I hated him at first. I was like, why am I following this?
Bro, same thing, bro. Like I hated him at first too for a while, and at this point, I just grown like I can't even like deny. I can't even like hate it anymore, bro. Like this is you. Like this is who you are. Bro.
I'm like it's almost inspired. Like I'm like, damn, like you really are into like hating some shit, and I'm like,
bro,
damn.
You wake up every day and you just know like how am I gonna piss everybody off today? like it's a special talent. It's like a skill. It's like a skill that he has.
Bro, there was a point for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Every day he was getting ratioed.
Yes.
And there's to the point where Biz was even like, yo,
bro,
doing this shit.
I was about to say Biz, bro. Like Biz, it got to the point where Biz was like even start quoting him. And then Biz is like the ultimate like engagement for him, bro. Like Biz gets a hold of like one of your tweets. You might as well mute it now, bro, because like there's a chance it's gonna go crazy. Biz was like putting the spotlight on him, like, yo, this like look at this. And Brandan, and he was just getting smoked for like a week. Like it was like every day he would wake up, say something crazy, and Biz was just like, yo, I'm about to put the spotlight on him. Yeah. And he's about to smoke this kid, bro. Like it's crazy.
But it's great because he loves. I know he loves it. I know
he gets a rush out of this probably for sure. He for sure probably gets a rush out of it. 100.
One of the worst ones for me was Future. When I wrote about Future's album, I got murdered.
What, High Off Life?
Yeah. I got killed for that one.
Bro, I didn't like the album. And everybody knows how I feel about Future. Like, people know, like, that's my guy. Like, it's like him and Drake for me.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like High Off Life. Like, I liked like maybe 6 songs total off the whole album. Like, I just felt like he was uninspired. I didn't feel like he was really like the same level of quality music that he's given us over the past, even if we don't count his whole career. Like, I think I like damn near everything he had ever put out. Even if we just want to say from 2014 till now, like it's clearly, in my opinion, the weakest project he's put out in that time period.
100%. Sure. And I don't even like the R&B shit he does sometimes because I'm really just not into that shit for whatever reason with him. But even those, I'm like, okay, like he was like, attempting something that like he's normally not used to doing, and I can respect it. This shit was just kind of like he was just kind of putting some shit out. But I think the thing that like pissed a lot of people off was like, one, I'm white, and two, I said he flopped like real bad on this album, and that was the combination of the two. It was over, and I was like, bro,
white. At least you have the self-awareness to know why they killed you. But like,
this is what pissed me off though. The first guy to start it was like, you're white, you can't talk about hip hop, and I knew that was coming. Whatever, exactly. About that shit. Like, it's just funny to me. But then like, after like it settled down, like hours later, he goes, "But that was a pretty good article. Good writing." I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I'm like, you did all that shit to me for what?
Yo, that's Twitter in a nutshell, bro. That's literally Twitter in a nutshell. Like, you just gotta like let that shit roll off your shoulder, bro. Like, you just gotta leave.
Oh yeah. Like, it was great, but I was just like, if you're just gonna compliment me after, you could have just saved me the few hours of getting murdered on here, shit. But whatever, it was a good time though. But I want to thank you for coming on. This has been a great episode.
I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Absolutely. I was very happy you said you were down for this because, I had to get a couple elite media members in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? Especially now because I'm an elite myself, I guess.
Yeah, you've written for us, so you're elite adjacent. Yeah. You're elite adjacent, bro, for sure.
Yeah. I got to get my stripes in there, but we'll be all right.
You're elite adjacent for sure. You've written a story for us, so you get to wear a little badge of honor for sure at this point.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm aware of that with pride. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking the time out of your day when you were in New Orleans chilling. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. And plug away whatever you got going on. Like what's coming up in the future and all that shit.
I appreciate you for having me, bro. Like I said, Play for Keeps podcast will be back soon. We're really excited about coming back to you guys. We love the feedback that we got for the first season. Has us excited for the second season. I was just recently on the Setters with Bansky and Katie, so go check that out. The Setters is back. I was on this most recent episode that just dropped last week. They're gonna have more episodes coming out in the future, of course. So go check out the Setters. Check out everything we have at Elite Media for sure. Check Fade. I'm not sure what they're about to do now that the NFL offseason has started. I think they're still going to be recording, still doing more episodes. Yeah. If like their season finale episode just came out last week. I'm not sure when the next season starts. Don't think they're going to wait all the way until the NFL season in September. I'm pretty sure they'll probably do some stuff during training camp, whenever training camp starts back up. So make sure you go support those guys for sure. Support the M Grass told us first podcast, also under Elite, and then all of our different writers and everybody that we have had do editorial stuff on Elite as well. Mez, Snoop, Trout, of course, Nate, Reese, and of course you've done stuff for us, Armand, a bunch of different people who I guess we can quote unquote say freelancers. I guess, but just support the Elite Media Group, man. We're trying to build something, like, even whether people love us or hate us, we're just trying to give a platform to as many people as possible to do the things that they love. So yeah, just make sure you support all of those different things. I know I might have just said a lot, but those are the things that I need you guys to go out and listen to and support.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, bro. That's what we want. You got to plug your shit out, bro. Thank you guys again for listening. Make sure you subscribe, like, share everything from Peeps with Tweets. Make sure you leave comments. Make sure you can tell us what you liked about the episode, what you didn't like about the episode, all that shit. And we will see you guys next time, man.
Yeah. After this, the price definitely got to go up.